It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the third day of December. Kind of a busy Thursday morning for me as I've been out to get a COVID test. I had to run by the urologist and pick up some supplies. Amanda had to pick up some supplies for her breathing apparatus. So we did a whole big circle of medical crap this morning, but I did get back in plenty of time. A couple things to just briefly touch on before we get to the news of the day. Of course, by now, all of you guys know that our friends over in the UK got emergency authorization for the Pfizer COVID test yesterday. They could start putting vaccines in people's arms by next week. So good for them. They're running a little bit ahead of us. We're probably going to be a couple weeks until we actually see some vaccines yet, but we're getting there. So that's a start for all of us to get back in the right direction. The other thing before we get to the news stories of the day is I have something to share with you. Our friend Gretchen, Gretchen's here. Hey, good morning, Gretchen, Sonny, and Tom. Our friend Gretchen up there in Ohio, yesterday she was in her bikini and out in her backyard working on her tan for the next cruise she goes on. And that's a picture of, let's see now, where is Gretchen in that? I think maybe she's just to the left of that cherry tree. It's just out of frame for that picture. But Gretchen was out there in her bikini and getting some suntan yesterday. I just wanted to share that with all of you guys. So, all right, enough with silliness this morning. We do have a couple stories for the day. A couple, and this story angered me. A couple was jailed for boarding a flight after a positive COVID test. Wesley Moribe and Courtney Peterson, both 46 of Wailua, Hawaii, reportedly boarded a United flight on the 29th, despite having tested positive for COVID and placing the passengers of the flight in danger of death, according to the Kauai Police Department. They had a 4-year-old child in tow. The flight originated at San Francisco International Airport, where the pair both tested positive for COVID-19. They were told by the quarantine station at the airport to isolate and not to board a plane bound for Kauai, but they did it anyway. After the plane landed in Kauai, the pair were identified and apprehended by police. They were charged with reckless endangerment and posted bail that was set at $1,000 each. The child was released into the care of a family member, and the Child Protective Services was notified, according to the police. I think we need to charge him with attempted manslaughter. Throw him in jail. I think we need to do the same thing with the people that refuse to wear masks, too. Let's start charging these damn people. They're putting everybody else's life at risk. It's the only way you're going to get past the political crap of wearing a mask. Start throwing them in jail. All of them. Politicians, too. Idiots. They're all idiots. All right, so we know about Quantum of the Sea sailing on the 1st out of Singapore. If you guys are not a Cruise Critic member, you want to go to cruisecritic.com and follow them, join whatever you have to do. I don't know. I've been using Cruise Critic for years. I've actually never booked anything through Cruise Critic, but I use information from them all the time. But anyway, they have one of their Cruise Critic members, a writer, Aaron Sanders, has been posting live from the run up to the sailing and reveals just what the sail away looked like in the first couple days on board the ship. And as you can see, that's people, boarding. And everybody had their little welcome package in their room, which included a couple masks, some hand sanitizer, and of course the little watchy thing. That's so you don't have to touch anything as far as credit cards and getting in and out of your room and all that stuff. So I highly recommend, and in the description for the video for today's show is the cruisecritic.com/news/5770, which takes you to the article. He's posting live stuff every day on the cruise. I have requested an interview with Aaron. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think he might be one of the only reporters on board the ship. So, he's going to have people a lot bigger than me requesting interviews. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Of course, our friends Sue and Janine both work for Cruise Critic on occasions. And they probably know Aaron. But anyway, he's from up in Vancouver. But he's doing a good job. That's just 3 of the pictures that I piggybacked off the article. There must be, just from the sail away, there must be 12 or 14 pictures and a nice story with it. Highly recommend. Go to Cruise Critic and follow what Aaron's posting on this cruise. It looks like Royal Caribbean's doing it right, and hats off to them. All right, for you Carnival guys like Jason, and I tell you what, I'm thinking about this. They started a promotion yesterday: free drinks on your next cruise. Book now with free cheers to you offer. You and a guest enjoy our prepaid bar package for free if you book a cruise by December 23rd. Now, I didn't see any limitations on what kind of cruise it is that you have to book. Of course, my problem is, I'm solo. I don't have, I don't travel with a partner anymore. And so if I have to pay double, then I have to pay double, which the last Carnival Sunrise that I was on in February, I didn't have to pay quite double. I had a decent deal on that. But I've never, as I've told you all before, I've never used a drink package before. To me, it's not worth it. But this drink package that they're giving away for free on this is $51.95 per person per day, plus an 18% gratuity. So that's another $10 in gratuity. So that's $62 a day for booze and Diet Coke and stuff. Now, I buy a Diet Coke package because that's what I drink mostly, is Diet Coke when I'm on a cruise. Yeah, I'll have a cocktail or two. I might have a Bloody Mary every morning. And if I'm out and about, I don't drink like I used to, guys. As much as I might talk about it, I really don't. So to me, it saved a lot of money just I pay as I go. I'll pay at the end of the cruise. I don't have the $1,000 bar bills like I used to have on cruises. That was back when drinks were cheap too. I don't do that anymore. So, but I'm sitting here thinking, of course I got my the October European trip, which, knock on wood, if my health allows it, we get all this mess out of the way and say in the next 4 to 5 months. Even though I'm not going to be cancer-free, I know that now. They hope to manage it, and I'll live it the rest of my life. I'll have the Lupron injections on a regular basis. It's going to be every 3 months for now. Eventually, I'll get to where they put a thing in that does a year at a time. And it's a drip thing. It gives you so much of this all the time. But that's on down the road. But now that I know, I got the facts together now. I know what I'm dealing with. I'm not near as upset about it as I was, when I was a mess after Monday. I don't mind admitting it. It took me hard to get that information. But now, okay, I'm ready to deal with it. Now I'm figuring out exactly what I'm going to do. I've got a direction that I'm going in now. I'm making a slight change in my direction. All of you guys know that I've had mobility issues and that I use scooters. I've made no mistake about that. I started that about 4 cruises ago, thanks to our friend Bonnie down in Florida. She's the one that suggested I do that after I struggled walking on the Norwegian Sun, a nice small ship. But Bonnie's the one that sold me on Scoot-Around, which I started using. Now I'm ready to get my own that I can travel with. So I'm going to do a lot more emphasis in travel on accessible travel. Listen, guys, some of you guys are getting up there close to me in age. Some of you still are not having mobility issues, and I think that's wonderful. That if you can still do it and you can walk and you do the standing and all that's been required getting on and off cruise ships all these years, that's terrific. You're going to find, however, as you get older, several things are going to happen. The knees and hips go. Well, I've replaced both my hips. My knee needs to be replaced, but I'm too fat. They won't do that until I lose 30 pounds, which I can't do because I can't go work out. I can't go to the gym, all that stuff. Now we're into this whole cancer business just to complicate matters further. But still, I'm going to start traveling, and I'm going to emphasize accessible travel. I'm going to emphasize stuff that I can go on a scooter. I can do myself, whether it's locally here in Lynchburg or Roanoke or Richmond, or do a day trip to DC, catch the train, accessible travel on the train, go to DC, whatever I find it. Amanda thinks I need to go to a museum. Okay. I got no problem with that. They have accessible museums. Take the train back home that night. Things that as we get older, folks, and you start having these mobility issues, maybe it gives you some ideas on things you can do so you don't end up old and fat like me and doing nothing. That you can be old and fat like me and still enjoy things and go on trips and go on cruises and go on whatever. So, and you guys that are younger, I mean, like Jason, you're like I was 40 years ago on a cruise. And I gotta love you. I understand. I know exactly where you're coming from because that's the way I used to be. And that's great. You're going to find, however, 30 years from now, and you start getting to some of these issues that I'm facing now, that maybe you'll think back to some of the, fat guy used to do some things that look like fun the way he did it. So I'm going to slightly alter my emphasis on things to accessible travel, to more of it than I do now. Okay. I do a video now. Like I've been working on a video for Cartagena, Colombia. I've almost had it ready to publish like 3 different times, and I keep getting things changed. We don't know for sure how excursions are going to go on cruise ships, and that's yet to be seen. But also, instead of looking at this purely excursions from the cruise ships, I now have to look at accessible excursions. So there can be a difference. So, and there can be a difference in cost. Some of them are not sponsored by the cruise lines themselves. We don't know what they're going to change yet. I mean, all this. It's a new era. It's a new field. And some of the people that have been writing and talking about accessible travel for a long time are overwhelmed by the amount of changes coming, and are loving the fact that somebody like me is interested in talking about accessible travel. So we're going to do that. I think you're going to probably see some folks as guests on both my shows, possibly on the Cruise Amigos. Again, I'm not forcing accessible travel down anybody's throat. I'm going to have a separate blog that's strictly for accessible stuff. So if you want to follow that, great. I'm working on that now. So some changes coming up. Okay. But anyway, back to the carnival. There's a good deal. So maybe, spring or early summer, I'll find a carnival cruise on a ship that I haven't been on and book it. And so I can take advantage of that drink package, a free drink package, even though I wouldn't spend the $60 a day to make it worthwhile. But hell, that'll save me, a couple $100. Well, that keeps me from, that bites the bullet some when I have to pay double. So we'll see. I may start researching that a little bit. Speaking of Carnival, the Horizon, which was one of the early ships, Carnival's plan to get the Horizon up and running has hit a slight roadblock. An update provided on the CDC website yesterday showed that Carnival Horizon was one of several ships that did not receive an all clear from the organization with regard to certain aspects of crew repatriation. Among the other ships which have not yet achieved green status, according to the CDC site, are Celebrity Apex, Celebrity Summit, MSC Preciosa, and Disney Dream. And if you want to see what it looks like, that's what it looks like. Carnival Cruise Line, Carnival Horizon, a big red. Commercial travel allowed? No. Notice that Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, their only ship now that they have left, is the Grand Classica, and it's been green lighted. I think that one was interesting that it happens to be right above Carnival. So that keeps us in tune with what our friend CEO Koza is doing down there with the Bahamas Paradise Line. So anyway, Carnivals, before they can get approved, they've got to make some changes yet. And several of these other ships are the same way. All right, the other thing that broke yesterday, we've talked several times about this, that why hadn't we heard anything from Royal Caribbean other than what they're doing in Singapore? Why haven't we heard anything from Norwegian on their scheduling, and when were they going to try to actually sail? Sorry about the cough. Remember, folks, I had a COVID test this morning, so I had that stick stuck down my throat, so it's a little, I'm not gagging anymore, but it's still a little rough down there. So, all right, 5 more major cruise lines cancel sailings into March and April. So you now have to wait till at least March to take a cruise on Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and at least until April on Oceania and Regent Seas. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, the parent company of Norwegian Cruise Line, canceled all brand sailings through the end of February and the majority of its March voyages. It also canceled all sailings through the end of March at Oceania and Regent, which it also owns. Royal Caribbean Group, the parent company of Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, canceled all sailings at both of these brands through the end of February, with the exception of a handful of Royal Caribbean cruises in Asia, which is like the Quantum of the Seas that's sailing right now. The latter sailings will be open to local residents only. And until these changes, the company had canceled everything through December. So, more cancellations, more changing of the websites. That part is getting old. Real old. So, all right, let's go over. That's it on the news. Again, the main news was Quantum of the Seas. I mean, that was the big news, obviously. And the idiots on that airplane. People, if you don't want to follow the rules, don't travel. If you don't want to follow the rules, don't cruise either, because you're going to ruin it for the rest of us. And goodness knows, if you test positive, you don't want to get on a plane for 6 hours. Oh, I'm serious. Those people need to be charged and more than $1,000 damn bail. Stick it to them. Ugh. Okay, let's see who's with us today. Tom's with us. Sonny's with us. Hi, Sonny down in Mississippi. Gretchen, the bikini girl, is with us. Sonny's laughing about Gretchen and her bikini in the snow. Tom says February 22nd, Royal Caribbean canceled yesterday. NCL Epic is canceled through April. There's only one cruise in the Caribbean early April, then the 11th transatlantic to Barcelona. I doubt Barcelona would bring the And I lost the end of your statement there, Tom. Oh, the Epic, it's down here. The bottom half of that, the Epic to U.S. just to return and with a 7-day restriction. Should I cancel now and use the credits for paying other cruises? That's a tough question, Tom, but I probably would. I mean, if you're reasonably sure that's going to happen that way, we just have to get things better for everybody before we can cruise again. I mean, we got to get this curve start down. We got to get the vaccine going and start getting some herd immunity, the real honest to God herd immunity going. And then still we're going to have to go through all these procedures again for a while. Which is one thing I don't know. Okay, so let's say I'm fourth in the fourth group in line to get the vaccine, fourth or fifth. It depends on which state does which way. By being over 70 with medical conditions and a non-nursing home resident, so I'm fourth group or fifth group on down the line. So I'm figuring at the earliest is middle of January, maybe even the 1st of February before I'll be, they'll have a vaccine that I can get. So that's okay. The one thing that I'm still trying to get an answer to, which I've got messages in, I don't know if Sonia Gupa talk about it today. He was talking about, was going to talk about cancer some today. And it might also be on tomorrow night's town hall, what they're doing strictly on the vaccines. But anyway, he's aware of my situation and aware of my question. Will I be able to will the vaccine hurt the chemo? Will the chemo hurt the vaccine? Will the chemo have killed enough of my immune system that I could, get really sick from the vaccine? These are all questions that I got to be answered before they stick that thing in my arm. I mean, as it is now, I'm going to be the first go as soon as I can. But I do have some questions about it because I'll be on chemo. And is that going to make things worse or better, or neither, or none of the above? So, all right, Nikki's down in Jacksonville. Hi, Nikki. Sonny asked Tom, will you get extra to reschedule your canceled cruises? Sonny says, I've got one booked in May for Alaska, dollars due January 2nd. Should I cancel, reschedule now? What would y'all do? In May in Alaska, I would go on as you're going to go. Because by May, we're going to be up to 50% or so, or maybe more of a population that's going to take the vaccine is going to have it. And surely to goodness by then, the numbers will be under control enough that the cruises will go, and the cruises will have the CDC blessing by then for each individual ship. So, Sonny, my best guess is yes, you're going to go in May. I haven't said that to anybody before. I said, I've hoped you guys go, but I've got a feeling, Sonny, by May, you might be the first of our family to actually get on a cruise ship, as a matter of fact. But we'll see. Gretchen says, hopefully you can get a vaccine just in time. Yeah. NCL is top bonus FCC on their cancellations. They're giving 10% discounts, which would be good if allowed on my 2023 South Africa cruise. Yeah, you can slide money from one to another. That South Africa cruise is nice. Another one, our friend out in Oregon, Kim, man, she's got a dandy cruise in October of 23. Goes to Alaska, then across to Russia and to Japan. And that one looks interesting to me. And it's on the Sun, which I love the Sun. It's a perfect size ship for me. The people that were the crew on the Sun before all this mess, they were great. I loved them. That's also where I got my first scooter, was the back end of my Sun cruise. I loved the food, but I loved the staff. The staff on the Sun was just fabulous. That's what I'm really looking at now in 23 for a major cruise. I'll be doing a lot of other cruising between now and then, but anyway. Gretchen says Medicare should pay for your scooter. They did for my father-in-law. Well, now see, I was told, I asked my oncologist, and she said, we fill out the paperwork all the time, but Medicare turns it down. So, but if somebody has actually gotten some money out of Medicare, maybe I need to talk to Humana and see what they say. Scooter salesman will hook you up. Okay. I didn't. I just assumed that I wouldn't be able to get any Medicare money for it. That I was going to be out of my pocket. So, again, I'm right on the verge. I've been saving information now. Once I started asking, Facebook about scooters, now I get ads out the wazoo. So I've gotten ads from 8 bazillion companies with scooters and fold-up chairs and electric wheelchairs. And, I don't need to go to a whole electric wheelchair, but a fold-up scooter, something that would get me, that'll go, say, 9 or 10 miles on a charge, and I can have a backup battery to go another 9 or 10 miles, just switching the battery. I'll be able to charge it in my room on a ship or wherever, that is lightweight enough that I can go out and throw it in the backseat of my truck, jump in my truck and go someplace, pull a scooter out and not have to deal with it. It's like CVS. Okay. I fought with CVS. That's where I get all my prescriptions. My doctor didn't have any flu vaccine this year because they had a run on it, and he went through 3 shipments and they couldn't get any more. So he said, look, just go to CVS and get your flu shot instead of coming here to get it. And I got to thinking, I said, hell, CVS, they don't have scooters, wheelchairs. I mean, all they have is carts, to walk behind. So to go from the parking lot at my CVS that I go to, all CVS are pretty much the same. The prescription counter is in the back end of the store. So you got to walk all the way through the store. And then for something like a vaccine, you got to stand in line. Okay. For how many other people are in front of you, and you never know till you get there. And then I walk all the way back. I can't walk that far. 20 yards, 30 yards tops, and I'm done, much less walking and standing and walking again. I can't do it. So I thought, well, hell, instead of CVS, I'll go to Kroger's and get my flu shot because they have the buggy, they have scooters for their customers. So I drove to my brother-in-law. I'm not driving right now because of the catheter business, because it pulls getting in and out of the truck. But so my brother-in-law dropped me off at the door, Kroger's. I walked 6 feet in and got on the scooter. I rode the scooter around to the pharmacy counter. I said, I want a flu shot. And they got my name and all that business. And I said, give us a couple minutes in the pharmacy, whenever she got a break and filling pills or whatever the hell it was. And she gets her needle and puts it together and takes me in the back. Whack, got my flu shot, rode the scooter back, left. So I called CVS to ask them the same thing. I said, look, you guys are going to be handling the COVID vaccine in this area when we get it. Kroger's is not. So I can't walk that far to come all the way in. That's not in my system right now. And so I said, how am I supposed to get in there? I said, oh, look, Mr. Falls, all you got to do, you call us and tell us you're here. We'll bring a shot out to the car and give it to you in the car. Well, okay. So notwithstanding them doing that, which would be very nice of them to do it, and they wouldn't have to, I'm going to get my own scooter because I'm going to use it for other things too, because I'm going to start doing some travel, and I'm going to be using it as soon as I get the vaccine and it's safe for me to travel. So, okay. Sonny says, Gretchen, hope so. Come on, vaccines. You need a script though. Yeah. They're a bitch to fly with. Yeah, I know. I've been warned on that one, but they're getting lighter, easier to handle, and maybe the airlines will treat them a little bit better, especially in my situation, because, again, walking on and off, getting up to the door of the plane, yeah, I can walk from there to a seat, okay? So hopefully it'd be nice if I can keep the scooter in the front of the plane, but who knows? I'm going to have to play that one by ear. Tom Henry says, I should be on the Encore today. C-Day yesterday. Headed to Curacao tomorrow, Aruba on Saturday. I'm sorry you're not down there. I really am. Number one, I love the Southern Caribbean. That's first and foremost. I was going to be bugging the crap out of you for doing live streams while you were down there too. Cartagena on Monday, then the Panama Canal. Tom, if you want to buy, get a good deal on some emeralds. I can hook you. I don't know if you're going to be able to go to do any shopping in Cartagena, but I got the dude set up for emeralds. But you got to buy them there because you can't ship them. Number one, like UPS and FedEx, they won't ship emeralds. You have to pay for somebody to fly the damn things from Colombia to the States, and then you got to meet them wherever they are to pick up the package. NCL has 3 ships with green, but none are planned to cruise until April. Escape, Encore, and Joy are the only ship projected to cruise in March, but not listed. Interesting. And we knew the CDC was going to be tough on this one. I thought the cruise lines would do better at rolling in there ready to go, but obviously not. Gretchen says, I hope my May 29th Rome to Rome is a go, but who knows? Again, May, Europe. I'm seriously thinking by then you guys are going to be on target. That's 5 more months with what all's happening in the world right now. We got a good shot. We got a good shot at things being back to the new normal by May. I really believe that, folks. Honestly believe that. Emily's with us. Hey, Emily. Glad you're here today. Next cruise after April is June 24th, 9-day out of Copenhagen. Yeah, Tom, I think you got a good shot on that one too. You got May and June. I'm thinking by then we're going to be back to somewhat normal condition. Now, I'm not sure when our friend Jason's going to go. He was supposed to go on that first week in January. I don't know about that one yet. I spoke to someone I know in Australia, and he said no mask, but social distancing strictly enforced, and everyone is very careful. I'm going to be interviewing a paraplegic traveler here in the not too distant future from New Zealand. And it's going to be a pretty interesting interview. I think she's not a cruiser. She doesn't like cruise ships, but she has done a lot of travel. I think she's been to the States 5 or 6 times from New Zealand, traveling as a paraplegic. And I'm fascinated, absolutely fascinated. So she's going to be a guest on a show here real soon, as I really seriously start moving into this area. Tom Henry says, Norway sounds great. Yeah, sounds good at this point, doesn't it? Yeah, everybody agrees. Our next cruise, Nikki says, our next cruise is booked 11 months from today. I'm hopeful, but not certain. I see deals, but just can't get it together to book. That's one of the things, Nikki. I'm not seeing the great deals that I expected to be seeing right now. I mean, I thought we'd have steals, and they're not near as good as I thought they'd be. So yeah, I mean, like Carnival giving away a drink package, I might do that just for the hell of it. I mean, I can book a 4 or 5 day Carnival cruise from somewhere on one of the ships I haven't been on, and do it just to have someplace to go. But then I got to look at going. I know I can't do anything for about 5 months from next Thursday, because I'll be doing this chemo business, and I'm going to be bald. I'm going to have no hair, which also means I'm going to have sunburned a bald spot up here. But so we'll see. I have no idea how I'm going to look bald. I've had a full head of hair my entire life, so we're going to see. Who has falling iguanas? That was Bonnie wasn't Bonnie had an iguana falling out of a tree on her yard or something? I don't know. Hopefully everybody by then will have gotten a vaccine. No falling iguanas. How about freezing squirrels? As for the vaccine, all of you guys will or can be vaccinated before I can. Yeah, because Emily, you're a young chick. I mean, you got a lot of benefits and running around with us old folks. But one of them is we're going to all get vaccinated before you can. You and Jason are going to be last of Chillie's Cruises family, because everybody else is older than you are. So, of course, you can do things that we can't do anymore. So that's why we love you guys. John Reitmeyer is with us from up there in Minnesota. He probably has some snow up there too, don't you, John? Gretchen says, first time, Emily, I'm wondering if 63 is old enough. Yeah, just wait, Gretchen. I tell you what, 72 is it's been a bad number for me, I'll tell you. So anyway, Medicare paid for your dance. Oh, hell, I'm going to have to look into it. I just went from what my oncologist said, so I'll have to make some phone calls. I'll do that today. I'm going on anything else I'm going to do today. I got some supplies picked up for the, all this crap that I have to deal with till the 23rd. 23rd December is the next time that I might get this damn thing out. So I got to play with the catheter. And quite frankly, folks, I tried today. Which I'll tell you, this will be on my weekly thing when I do for actually, for next week, just because I've done this week's already. So I tried to use the small bag that straps to my thigh. Okay. I don't like it because it's once it gets a little weight in the bag, even with it strapped to your thigh, that weight pulls And when it pulls, it's uncomfortable a lot. By the time I got home, I was out. It's a 30-minute drive roughly across town and back. So there's an hour of driving that Amanda had to do. It took me 10 minutes to get the COVID test. It took me maybe 10 minutes to pick up my supplies at the urologist, which is right up the street. And then about 2 blocks the other way is where Amanda had to pick up her stuff, and it took maybe 15 minutes there. So I was gone an hour and a half. Yeah. So by the time I got home, I was literally in pain because of that stupid small bag. I do much better with the damn big bag, the overnight bag, and I just carried the damn thing around like a briefcase. And if somebody don't want to look at my pee, tough shit. Excuse my French. I shouldn't say that on the air, but it's just the way it is. If somebody doesn't like it, I'll just tell them that, sorry, I got prostate cancer. Do you? Then you know why. Squirrels will try to move into Gretchen's spare room. Well, see, because you were out there sunbathing in the bikini yesterday, the squirrels had to go someplace because you got them all upset. They were confused. Medicare paid for my sister-in-law's. Okay, you guys have convinced me. I will start looking. I got Humana's phone number right over here. I'm a Medicaid and supplemental policy person, and yeah, what the hell? I might get a better scooter if they're paying part of it, at least. CVS has an assortment of 3-layer masks. I wonder if all CVS is like that. Yes, our prescription center is at the back of the store too. I have to get my mom's prescriptions. I'll tell you what I'm the most impressed about CVS, the reason that I use them exclusively. I've had to fight with them over the years because I hate the fact that they try to force you into 3 months worth of prescriptions. That used to bug the crap out of me. I just want to call. When I need a refill, I call and get a refill. Don't do it for me. I just hated that. Well, now I've pulled back on that. Said, okay, you want to refill them for 3 months? Do it. You know, so I don't have to mess with you. So let's travel. So I've fought with them about that a couple of times. I've fought with them over them trying to make decisions, their sales policies. But the thing that impressed me the most, and the reason that I will probably never leave CVS again, doesn't have to do with me. It actually has to do with my niece, Amanda, who is allergic. She's one of those people that's allergic to everything, especially dyes. Red dye, green dye, pink dye, purple dye. Dye this, dye that, any kind of food coloring, she's allergic to. So she went to CVS and said, look, you know, ibuprofen is one thing. Yeah, the only ibuprofen she can take doesn't have dye in it, is white capsules. I don't know. Anyway, there were several prescriptions that all had dyes in them. So she couldn't take the prescriptions that the doctors gave her because of the dye, because she's allergic to it. CVS put in an entire line of prescription pills, all that stuff, dye-free at all of their stores because of Amanda having to get pills that didn't have dye in them. CVS wasn't even aware of the fact that some of their pills were making people sick because of the allergy to the dyes in pills. Why the chemical companies never knew that's beyond me. But anyway, so CVS, you know, they've been that's my only pharmacy forever until I had to go with, Kroger's to get my flu shot this year. Gretchen says, I have to brag. I don't have any prescriptions, and CVS mails my husband. Yeah, I realized that they could mail it to me, and I wouldn't even have to go pick it up. I still, the CVS is 3 miles away. So I drive in there, I call in prescriptions when I need it, to refill it but the next morning. And I drive through the drive-in and pick it up and never go inside. And, I haven't been inside a CVS forever. So, but I like them a lot. We had no problem with Cindy's AirHawk wheelchair when we flew. Good to know. Some of them are, it has to do when you get to the electrical ones. I do know that there are certain batteries that the airlines will accept and certain batteries the airlines will not accept. So that's one of the things you have to watch out for. Mr. Emerald is great in Cartagena. Yeah, that's Les. That's my Emerald guy, Tom. Interesting that you know them. They're going to be a feature on my Cartagena video whenever I get that done. So John says, hey, Auntie M. Oh, Emily. Emily's laughing. We'll look forward to New Zealand guest. Yeah, she's going to, this is going to be an interesting, kind of a tough interview for me, but it's going to be an interesting one, I think, too. So we've chatted some back and forth about it. One of the problems is going to be is there's a 12-hour time difference. So getting the right time to do, and I might have to do this taped as opposed to live streaming just because, it's the wrong time for us to be live streaming here, but we'll see. Tom Henry said, John, how is the sleep study? You have a CPAP now. Chillie's homemade lemonade. Who wants some? Wouldn't that be nice? I haven't squeezed lemons for a long time. Oh, wait. Chillie cussed. Laugh out loud. That was too funny. Yeah, well, sorry about that. I did. I sure did, folks. John, which wig are you giving up? Yeah. Drive-through, best invention ever. I agree. I'm glad Chillie CVS is doing that for your niece as well as other people. Yeah, that was amazing because she was up in New York 3 or 4 months after the store here put stuff in, and she went to the store up there and said, I get this at my CVS. I don't suppose by any chance you have it up here or whatever it was. I'm thinking it was ibuprofen or maybe something else. But anyway, I said, oh, yeah, we got it about 3 months ago. Yeah, right here. So, John says, Sonny, any he wants of John's wigs. Yeah, so I have a church friend of mine right nearby. His wife has volunteered him to be in charge of my hairdos. He has a absolutely perfectly bald dome. So he's going to be in charge of my hairdos. So Gretchen loves lemonade. Oh, sorry I can't make you some lemonade, guys. All right, that's going to wrap me up, guys. I'll see everybody on Thursday. Of course, anything major happens, I'll come back again. My doings are done now until next Thursday. Now, folks, next Thursday, no show. I'm going to be in surgery Thursday morning next week, getting the shunt port, whatever you want to call this thing, put somewhere underneath my collarbone so that when they, hook me up to the crap for cancer, whatever you want to call it. When they hook me up to the chemo, it goes in my neck. So, and that's a surgical implant. That's why I had to go for the COVID test this morning. So that's next Thursday. So no show next Thursday, guys. Sorry. But I will be on Saturday. I will be on Tuesday. I got nothing until Thursday. And then next week, We'll see how I do after Monday is, of course, the first chemo on the 14th. So we'll see how I do on Tuesday for the show Tuesday next week. That's a week from this coming Tuesday. So I'm going to try, guys. That's all I can say. Try as much as I can to be with you at all times, but we do know next Thursday I won't be. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, I want everybody out there to stay safe, wear your mask, socially distance, keep your hands clean, all that good stuff. Follow all the rules, stay safe, and we'll all get to go on a cruise real soon. You guys have a great day. Thanks for being with me. Love you guys all. Later.
Thank you for watching today's Travel and Cruise Industry News. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.